Lewis Hamilton isn't the type to lose his cool, but when he does, you know something serious just went down. We're not talking about a minor misunderstanding or a clumsy overtake. No, this was something that made one of the calmest, most experienced drivers in Formula One drop an unfiltered "oh shit" over team radio. That doesn't happen unless the situation is truly wild. It all kicked off during Friday practice at the Imola Grand Prix. Everything seemed normal. Cars were doing their laps, engineers were collecting data, and drivers were getting a feel for the track. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a rookie made a move so reckless, so mind-blowingly stupid, that it forced Hamilton to slam on the brakes and sound off over the radio. Now think about that for a second. Lewis has seen it all. He's battled with the best, survived chaos in the rain, outmaneuvered champions, and made overtakes that belong in museums. But even he wasn't ready for what came next. And here's the kicker. This wasn't during a race. It wasn't even in qualifying. This was FP1. Just practice. And yet, it turned into the kind of moment that'll be talked about for the rest of the weekend. But don't expect the official F1 feed to show you the full story. Nope. That part's been cleaned up and sanitized for your scrolling pleasure. If you want the truth, the full story, the stuff they leave on the cutting room floor, you're in the right place. This is raw. This is real. This is Formula Fury. The session was calm. Nothing dramatic, just a typical Friday at Imola. Lewis was cruising on a slow lap, chatting casually with his race engineer, Riccardo Adami. The Ferrari was looking sharp, running smoothly, and Hamilton was probably thinking about setup tweaks or tyre feel, you know, standard practice stuff. Everything felt under control. That is until a flash of blue came tearing up behind him. Isack Hadjar, the rookie in the Racing Bulls car, came flying up the right side like he was late for something, and instead of easing past, giving space, or showing a bit of respect to a 7-time world champion, he pulled a move straight out of the what not to do playbook. He cut across Hamilton's nose, sharp, aggressive, and then, just as suddenly, slammed the brakes. Hamilton barely had time to react. Over the radio, you could hear it raw and real. "Oh shit! Geez, this guy in front just brake tested me." You could almost hear the disbelief in his voice. And honestly, who could blame him? Brake testing is dangerous. It's not just rude, it's reckless. You don't do that to any driver, let alone one of the greatest the sport has ever seen. Especially not at a fast-flowing track like Imola. Especially not in a practice session. And especially not when that legend is now driving in Ferrari red. It's not just bad judgment, it's asking for trouble. This wasn't just a clumsy mistake. It felt like something bigger, like a test of respect. And let's be real, Hadjar flunked it. Because when you're a rookie sharing the track with a 7-time world champion, you don't try to make a name for yourself by pulling risky stunts. You earn respect by showing control, not by forcing someone like Lewis Hamilton to slam on the brakes just to avoid a crash. It's not the first time we've seen this kind of thing from the Red Bull Junior pipeline. That group is known for producing fast, aggressive drivers, but sometimes that aggression crosses the line. Think back to Liam Lawson last season, Yuki Tsunoda when he first arrived, or even Max Verstappen in his early days. Speed? No question. Talent? Plenty. But they all had moments where they let adrenaline get the better of judgment. And around the paddock, you can already hear the quiet whispers. The kind that don't make it into press releases. He's trying to show he's fearless. But here's the truth. That wasn't fearless. That was careless. There's a fine line between being bold and being dangerous, and Hadjar just stepped over it, in full view of everyone. But here's where Lewis showed exactly why he's on a different level. He didn't react with anger. No wild gestures, no team radio rant beyond that one raw moment. He didn't run to the media to stir things up or start pointing fingers. He just moved on, logged the incident, took a breath, stayed focused. That's classic Hamilton, calm, calculated, always thinking 2 steps ahead. And what did he do after that? He went right back to business, quietly put in the laps, kept working with his team, and by the end of FP1, he was 5th fastest, just 1/10 of a second off the top time. No noise, no drama, just speed. It was the perfect way to answer the chaos. Not with words, but with pace. When asked about how the Ferrari was feeling, Lewis gave one of those short, knowing replies. "I'll tell you afterwards." Simple, sharp. That's Hamilton for you. Always keeping things close to the chest. He knows exactly what that car is doing, and he's not about to give anyone in the paddock a free look at his hand. And that's the thing with Lewis right now. It's not just about one practice session or one sketchy move from a rookie. It's bigger than that. This is a guy in a whole new phase of his career. New team, new garage, new voices in his ear. And with that comes new expectations. People are watching closely, some hoping he'll fail, others just waiting to see if the magic is still there. But Lewis? He's carrying all of it. The pressure, the past, the noise. Like a man who knows exactly who he is. He even said it himself. "I have to remind myself I've won 7 titles, more than any other driver in history." Let that sink in. That's not ego, that's not bragging, that's a message. A reminder, for himself, for his team, for every driver on that grid, that he's still the measuring stick. While a young driver like Hadjar is trying to make headlines with bold, risky moves, Hamilton doesn't need stunts to get attention. He makes headlines by building legacy. Every session, every lap, every quiet moment of focus, it's all part of the bigger picture. He's not just racing, he's rewriting the story, proving again and again why he's still the one everyone's chasing. You can try to rattle Lewis Hamilton all you want, but unless you've got 7 world titles and over 20 years of racing brilliance behind you, you're just background noise on the track. Lewis isn't just any driver. He's a legend who's earned every bit of respect the sport can give. If you want the real, unfiltered and unapologetic stories from the heart of Formula One, the kind you won't get anywhere else, make sure you hit subscribe, because here at Formula Fury, we don't clean up the story, we fuel the fire.